Hi everyone, Tasha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you a card tutorial using items from Kat Scrappiness. Now that we're heading into August and strawberries are everywhere, I decided to use the Kat Scrappiness Berry Sweet stamp set for this project. And I'm using the smallest strawberry and then the little group of 3. In addition to cut everything out, I'm going to use the coordinating die set, and this also has dies that'll cut out the sentiments. For the center of my card, I'm using 2 dies from the Stitched Nesting Hexagon die set, and these are the 2 sizes that I'll be using for this project. And then for my paper, I'm using a piece of pattern paper from the Be My Valentine 6x6 paper pad. All of these are double-sided, but I love the colors in this floral print. And then for basic cardstock, I'll be using a dark brown, a light brown or tan color, a red, and white cardstock. I thought these shades coordinated well with the pattern paper since all of these colors are in the design. We have the red and the creamy colors. So to start the project, I'm going to do my stamping. I'm going to stamp the group of 3 strawberries and then the smallest strawberry using my Misty tool, and I'm using black hybrid ink for this project. I'm going to be coloring with Copic markers, so this ink is perfect when you want to use alcohol markers. So I'm just going to stamp it 2 times with the black ink, and this really helps having a Misty or a stamping tool so you can stamp it more than once. I have trouble stamping larger stamps, and this group of strawberries needed to be stamped twice. You see on one side it was a little bit lighter and I kind of missed the top of one strawberry, but it's no problem. You just stamp it again and press down in those areas that you missed, and you don't have to start over again or have one area be lighter than the other. So this is how it looks all stamped up. And then I will be using those coordinating dies to cut both of these little images out. And this set also includes, again, the dies to cut out the sentiments. So once the 2 stamped images were all cut out, I'm going in and I'm going to start my coloring. I'm using red Copic ink for the strawberries, and I'm trying to avoid the little seed areas since I want them to be white. I will go over those areas with a white gel pen, but the white on top of red ink can kind of make a pink color, so I try to avoid it as best as I can. After I was done coloring all of the red, I went in with some green colors to make that leafy part. If you notice, I left a little bit of white in that center of the strawberry. You don't need to, but it's going to be covered up since I'll be layering that little strawberry on top of that center image. And as you see here, I'm going in with my white gel pen just to make those white little seed areas brighter. And this is how it looks once it's all done. I just added a few more little embellishments with the white gel pen, and again that will cover up that opening. Now it's time to make my greeting. I decided to go in with a dark brown cardstock. I'm just using my powder tool, and I'm going to be embossing the sentiment with white powder. I like how it looks with the white on top of black cardstock usually, but since I'm using all the browns and reds and all these strawberry colors, I decided to go in with a dark brown paper. Once I was done stamping it with the ink, I went over and added the white embossing powder. That powder tool that I did at the beginning helps so much to make sure you don't have any static and your embossing powder is just where you want it. And then I just hit it with a heat gun. I do like to go behind as well. Just make sure everything is nice and flat, and it's as easy as that. And once I give it just a second to kind of cool off, I'll wipe up that excess powder. And again, here I'm just showing you that the sentiment dies fit perfectly around that stamped greeting. After positioning that sentiment die, Before I die cut, I do tape it in place with just some low tack tape or some washi tape. And then I'll also cut 2 of the cardstocks with these nesting hexagon dies off camera, just so it doesn't shake while filming. Now I went in and layered a red piece of cardstock onto the tan piece of cardstock, and then I'm just building up my layers. I'm going in with that pattern paper, and I'm just using some glue runner to attach each of the paper layers. You can also use liquid adhesive or score tape. There's no glitter paper or any specialty cardstock for this project, so any adhesive will work. I'm just trying to make sure I have it as straight as possible. And then I'm going to attach this center piece. Since these frame areas are so small and thin, I decided to go in with liquid adhesive for this part. I do like this type of liquid adhesive. It dries quickly and clear, and with that extra tip where you can make it a little bit of a skinnier or more of a precision tip, it makes it really easy to add the glue. So I'm just going to layer that in the center as best as I can and kind of wiggle it till it's kind of like in the center perfectly. Not the best at layering, but I got it pretty close to being perfectly centered. And then once that's in place, I'm going to use the other die cutout and position that right in that center area. I wanted it to have that stitch border, so I did cut it out 2 times, one for the frame and then 1 time for that center opening. And here's how it looks when it's all together. It just fits in perfectly. Before I glue that last piece though onto the card, I'm going in with some Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just going to go around those edges. This is a bright white cardstock, and because I used a lot of tans and there's cream color in that pattern paper, I thought it would look nicer if I just added some Distress Oxide color around those edges to kind of just add a little bit of a more tan color to this bright white cardstock. And I love the way that this kind of has a vintage look as well, and it goes with this strawberry theme. So once it was all done, I'm just using that same glue runner, and I'm going to attach it to the center of my card. It's so easy to do. Everything fits in perfectly with these nesting dies. And then for the strawberries, I'm going in with some foam tape. This is just regular foam tape, and I'm just using a single layer. Just cutting it down to size so that each area has a bit of foam in it, but you don't have to cover the whole thing. And then once it's in place, I just peel off all the backing, and I'm going to position it to the lower part of that nested hexagon center area. And I'm just going to put it as close to the bottom so that we have that sentiment in the center design. After I have the strawberries in place, then I'll press down on it firmly to make sure it's nice and secure. Now I'm going to go in and attach my greeting. I'm using the same foam tape for this just to have it raised up a bit, but I'm just cutting down my foam tape to make a smaller section. So really you could take a little piece of foam tape and just cut little tiny strips, and that would work perfectly when attaching these small greetings. So I'm just going in and carefully peeling off the backings, and then I'm going to put it right above my strawberries. And look how cute that looks with the white letters on the brown paper and how all those colors goes with that floral pattern paper. I just love it so much. And then lastly, I'm going to attach this little strawberry to that center area. I'm using foam tape again, so again it gives another layer, and it just looks so cute having all of these little pop-up pieces. And I like how that little berry is just kind of above the other two so that it looks like it is in front of them. It's so cute and so easy to do. All of this stuff, the dies and the stamps, everything works together and coordinates so well with the different pattern papers, and I just love this look. So here's how it looks all completed. Once I was done, I did want to add a little bit more embellishment, and Kat Scrappiness has so many different types of pearls and sequins, but they also have enamel dots. So I'm going in with just some white enamel dots in different sizes and just adding a few along the top area and then that bottom area kind of across from each other just to add some more dimension and some more color. It's just It's just so pretty. I love enamel dots or some type of sequin or a pearl. So here is the finished card. It was attached to a white card base, and that's the completed look. So I hope you guys liked today's card tutorial and are having a wonderful day. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and all of the items used are in the description box below. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.